Have you ever wondered what drives a man to commit the most heinous acts imaginable? It's a chilling question, isn't it? One that takes us into the dark corners of human nature. The story of Jeffrey Dahmer is one such exploration. His crimes, shocking in their brutality, have left many grappling with the question: how could a man do such things? What twisted paths led him there? To understand the horror, we must first delve into the life of Jeffrey Dahmer. Born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1960, Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer showed signs of a troubled mind from a young age. He grew up in a turbulent home where his parents' constant bickering cast a dark shadow over his formative years. Even as a child, Dahmer exhibited unusual behaviors. He had a morbid curiosity with the anatomy of animals, often collecting roadkill and dissecting them in the privacy of his home. This fascination with death and dissection was an early indication of the macabre interests that would later define his life. The impact of his parents' divorce, when he was just 18, further destabilized his already fragile mental state. It was a turning point that pushed Dahmer further down the path of darkness. As he grappled with feelings of abandonment and isolation, his antisocial behavior intensified, and his obsessions grew more disturbing. As Dahmer entered adulthood, his dark fantasies began to take a horrifyingly real form. From 1978 to 1991, Dahmer's life took a chilling turn. A seemingly average young man, Jeffrey Dahmer, transitioned into a notorious figure etched into the annals of true crime. His descent began in 1978 with the murder of Stephen Hicks. A pattern began to emerge, a modus operandi that was as chilling as it was macabre. Dahmer would lure young men into his home, under the guise of friendship or intimacy, only to end their lives in the most brutal way imaginable. His crimes escalated in their ferocity over the years. By the mid-80s, Dahmer's murders had taken on a darker tone, involving dismemberment and preservation. It was a gruesome spectacle of humanity's capacity for evil, hidden behind the facade of an unassuming chocolate factory worker. Throughout this period, Dahmer had several run-ins with law enforcement. He was arrested for disorderly conduct, indecent exposure, and even for drugging and sexually assaulting a 13-year-old boy. Yet each time he managed to evade the grasp of justice, slipping through the cracks of the system. There were close calls, instances where he narrowly avoided being caught. Yet, it was as if Dahmer was dancing with fate, his actions growing bolder with each passing year. It wasn't until 1991 that this horrifying dance came to a halt. In 1991, the Milwaukee Monster's reign of terror finally came to an end. The capture and trial of Jeffrey Dahmer sent shockwaves through society. His arrest sparked an immediate onslaught of media coverage, with every detail of his gruesome crimes laid bare for the public. This was not just local news, it was a story that gripped the nation. His trial, held in 1992, was a spectacle of horror and fascination. The courtroom was packed daily, the public hungry for answers, desperate to understand the mind of this monster. The verdict came swiftly: 15 consecutive life terms with no possibility of parole. Dahmer was sent to Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin. His presence there was a chilling reminder of the monster who had once lived among them. Yet the public's fascination didn't end with his incarceration. His life and death in prison remained a topic of intrigue and speculation. Dahmer's death in 1994 marked the end of a macabre chapter, but the echo of his crime still resonates. The name Jeffrey Dahmer is synonymous with the most disturbing aspects of human nature. His heinous crimes have left a lasting imprint on our society, sparking intense debates about mental health, the criminal justice system, and the safeguards we have in place to protect the most vulnerable. Dahmer's case has become a focal point in these discussions, a chilling reminder of the depths to which the human psyche can sink when left unchecked. Yet, it's not just the gruesome details of his crimes that hold our attention. It's the paradox of a man who, on the surface, seemed so ordinary, so unremarkable, yet harbored such darkness within. His story has permeated popular culture, from movies and documentaries to books and podcasts, each retelling seeking to understand the why behind the what. As we grapple with the legacy of Jeffrey Dahmer, we are reminded of the darkest capacities of the human mind and the haunting question: what creates a monster?